So let's talk about England A, beating Ireland A 28-12. Good win for them. And I'm glad they brought back the A team. It's a good shot window for these players who are close to the senior team. We've been following the under-20s recently. All the England teams won this weekend, so that's really good. Welcome to this video supported by Sports News Blitz. Let's talk about the players involved and maybe who should get into the senior team, especially with the summer tour coming up. Probably a bit late for the Six Nations, but who knows? It would be nice if some of them got drafted in because I think they could do with them, and we'll talk about that. Now, it's worth noting it's wet, it's windy, but England was still trying to be positive, so that's really good, and the under-20s do the same, so hopefully that goes through to the seniors. If it's rainy and it's wet, you don't just have to kick the leather off the ball, you can play, so that's nice to see these guys expressing themselves. And we saw certain players who maybe in the seniors haven't looked so great before, like Jack van Poortvliet, really expressing themselves. He scored an amazing individual try, so it shows what you can do with a positive attitude, so that is good to see. But let's get into these players rather than talk about the game, because it was a little bit bitty with the weather, and you have to say Ireland were unlucky to lose their two main men. Harry Byrne had to go off, Kieran Frawley had to go off. That definitely didn't help them for sure, so has to be acknowledged. Now the front row did fairly well. There are a couple of tight heads who I hadn't heard of too much before, Kloska, Luke Green, and I think Luke Green maybe stood out amongst them. He's very impressive. The two hookers are fantastic, running, exciting hookers, not the biggest, O'Gray and Langdon, but if you want to play an exciting, quick brand of rugby, they're your guys. But yeah, I think Luke Green probably stood out the most there. Who stood out in the second rows? Well, Hugh Tizard is a big lump, but a little bit lumbery around the pitch. But yeah, Tom Lockett, he really stood out. Again, a guy I hadn't seen a lot of. And I got some comments saying, yeah, watch out for this guy. Now, he's a real player, and I love the way he moves. I really watch how players move. I think it's very important, their athletic ability to get back on their feet, to get in position, to be light on their feet. And Tom Lockett, for a big guy, he looked really, really decent. He was turning ball over, winning line-outs. A good leader, calling the line out. Yeah, he is a guy you could definitely take on that summer tour. We know a bit about the back row of Pearson, Kenningham and Barbary, and they were all very good. Pearson is just that big, nasty ball carrier, Kenningham getting over the ball. And talking about athleticism, Kenningham is everywhere, but he's very flat-footed, which is just something I notice as kind of like an ex-sprinter. I'm really wary of people running flat-footed because it just takes away from their ability to spring around a little bit. Anyway, just a little note there. But yeah, Pearson, Kenningham, Barbary, neither of those guys would be out of place on a tour, but the guy who really stood out in the back row for me was Greg Fizzleout. He is so quick on his feet, he's always in position, he's bulked up a bit, and I think he could do a good role as kind of a replacement for Ben Earl at 7. He's that big, powerful 7, good over the ball as well, but great wide out, a great attacking option, and goodness me, his try was amazing. His break and his step on the winger covering across was brilliant. He is a serious athlete. At 8, probably a bit undersized internationally, but I think in the back row 6 or 7, he could be a serious guy. So I'd love to take him on tour for sure. Into the backs, like I said, Van Poortvliet had a good game. It was in the wet, he had control, he looked fit, he looked liberated. And if he comes back into the seniors, which I've got a feeling he might, because Randall didn't go that great, hopefully he gets to play with that freedom. When he started for England seniors, I was commenting all the time, he just looked really worried. And in this game, they looked relaxed. The whole team had a great vibe about them. Apparently they got on really well. So well done to Lee Blackett and the coaching team for coming together so quickly. Atkinson looks fairly decent, and they need to develop the 10s behind the two Smiths and the older Ford. Centres. England needs centres. They need them badly, we know that. At the moment, the only youngest centre going forward is Ollie Lawrence in the seniors, and Ajomo and Will Butt could both be those guys. I think especially Ajomo. I could see him working really well with Lawrence's teammate potentially, and Will Butt, if you want a big guy, he's probably the best at the moment until some more youngsters come through. In the back 3, they all did well. Hassel Collins got a try, but Carpenter, he looked like that all-round fullback that England really missed actually on Saturday. The real talent there on display in the back line was George Hendy. He's just naturally gifted athlete, deceptively quick, very strong, getting better, making breaks, scored a really good intercept try or kick on try. Here's a guy I think has to get on that tour in the summer for the sheer talent. I mean, we've just seen the talent that, say, France are bringing to the table in their back 3, some of their youngsters. Leo Barry, the fullback, unbelievable. England need to fight fire with fire, getting that athletic talent on the pitch, and Hendy is a man for that. So just a little summer tour team potential here. I'm not saying these are the guys you should start. It's kind of illustrative. We don't know who's going on the Lions or who they're going to rest. So I'm just saying, for argument's sake, some of the seniors are going on the Lions or being rested, and the Smiths don't go on tour, and it's probably worth taking them on the summer tour to try and develop a team around the Smiths, with maybe Finn Smith starting and Marcus Smith off the bench. So maybe you get Fizzalau into that back row and see what he can do, because I'm very excited about him. You get Hendy somewhere into the back three, O'Gray maybe, Green, Lockett, Pearson, Van Portfleet. You kind of slot them into the 23 and really start to develop some quality depth. So really good outing for England A, some definite talent on show, and hopefully they get involved in the summer. Let me know what you thought of the game, the players, who should go on tour in the summer, and I'll catch you next time.